Inspire them in the same momentum. It's Michael Bradley. That's a good ball.
Oh, Pizarro has gone right side of Singh. He's gone for the chip. Pizarro! Another trick from the Joker!
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Miami Total Football. We're at the end of a historic night for Inter Miami here at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, and that's because Inter Miami, for the first time in franchise history, has won back-to-back games, and for the first time in franchise history has won a game by more than one goal, and it did so with a 3-1 victory over Toronto FC. 2 goals from Rodolfo Pizarro, 1 from Robbie Robinson, and it was a pretty strong overall showing from start to finish for Inter Miami, which continues to climb up the Eastern Conference standings. It's now in 11th place, just 5 points shy of the playoff line, with a couple of games still in hand. So things are looking much better for Inter Miami right now, and that's something Inter Miami talked about after the game.
We're on a really good run. We're building a lot of confidence, and I think confidence and belief and trust comes with you earn those. You can't just go to a shop, and you can't just go online and buy those types of characteristics. You've got to earn them by your preparation, by your performance, and the players are now gaining lots of confidence and belief and trust in each other. And we've got to keep that momentum going. It's a grind. This league is a marathon, and for the first half of the marathon, we were lagging behind everyone, and now we've given ourselves a chance by getting some victories and getting ourselves in touching distance of those above us, and the players are enjoying that challenge.
Now, while things were mostly positive after this one, and rightly so, one of the things and one of the biggest talking points from this game was not so positive, and that was Rodolfo Pizarro's frustration and anger after being subbed out in the 67th minute. He took exception to that decision from head coach Phil Neville, because Pizarro was on a hat trick. He had 2 goals in the match, was 1 away from becoming the first player in franchise history to score 3 goals in a game, but he doesn't get an extended long look or opportunity to do so, because Phil Neville makes him one of his first substitutions, makes Pizarro one of his first substitutions, and Pizarro, kind of perplexingly, kind of in a confused manner, walks slowly towards the sidelines. And from the press box, I couldn't really see if Pizarro said anything to Neville while he was looking in his direction, but I would imagine so. Again, from the vantage point from the press box, couldn't see if his mouth was moving or not. But regardless, Rodolfo Pizarro doesn't embrace the head coach, doesn't shake his hands, no real nice gesture between them after he comes off in the 67th minute. He goes towards the bench, sits down. Phil Neville actually walked back towards him, looked like he said something to him before Neville turned back around and refocused his attention on the game. Now, that wasn't the end of it, because after the game, Phil Neville puts his arm around Pizarro after the final whistle and starts talking to him to explain maybe the reasoning, but it turns into a pretty animated discussion, because both Pizarro and Neville start gesturing quite a bit while they're talking, and Rodolfo Pizarro, like Phil Neville, looked to be trying to get their points across. Now, after the game, Neville said that all he was doing was reminding Pizarro that this is about the team, and that this is a game that's a team game. So that was the message he was trying to convey and deliver, and that Pizarro's reaction in the match actually was something he liked, something that Phil Neville liked, because it shows Pizarro's hunger and desire to want to be on the field and continue to make an impact. Phil Neville also said that by the time they got into the locker room, Pizarro was in good spirits and he played the music, and things were pretty even, or pretty smoothed out at that point. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk to Pizarro after the match. He was not made available for comment, so we could not get his side of the story and maybe understand why he was upset. Maybe he took it as a slight that he was one of the first substitutes made, or one of the first players taken off in a game that he had 2 goals and was closing in on a hat trick. So maybe that's what it was. But either way, Phil Neville said after the game that all he was doing was just reminding Rodolfo Pizarro that this, again, is a team game.
Well, he wanted the match ball. He wanted to score goals. He's obviously been through an awful lot, and he probably felt that it was a game where he could have got more chances in the game to score. And what we said to him was, it's a team game. Indiana didn't probably deserve to be left out. Probably Blaise Matuidi didn't deserve to be left out, but it's a team game. We're showing the depth of our squad.
Now, before we change topics, I do want to say I think the relationship between Pizarro and Neville is something that bears watching the rest of the way, because as we know and as we've seen, and as both of them maybe alluded to in the midweek match against the Chicago Fire or after that match, their relationship hasn't always been the best. They've not always seen eye to eye. Phil Neville, after the Chicago Fire game on Wednesday, said, kind of alluded to that by saying, maybe Pizarro hasn't always been that happy with me. Pizarro also said, after he scored that game-winning goal in that game in stoppage time, that he didn't always feel important this year, and that was one of the things that impacted him and plagued him and didn't allow him to feel at his best or perform at his best. And if you go back even further to the win against FC Cincinnati earlier in the season, I believe it was back in May, that was the game in which Pizarro came off the bench very late. Inter Miami was winning, they were leading, and he has a shot saved in the dying moments, and the camera catches Phil Neville's reaction, and Phil Neville was practically snarling, pretty angry at the miss. Not distraught or in disbelief like the rest of his technical staff. He was almost foaming at the mouth. That's how angry he was. So I think their relationship bears watching, especially now with Pizarro's form improving, because it looks like he is starting to break back into the starting lineup or make a real serious case to do so on a consistent basis. Now let's touch on the team in general, because the team in general in this one, like I said before, it didn't have those nervy finishes that we've grown accustomed to seeing. Inter Miami, again, from start to finish, was the better side and never really seemed to be in all that much danger. They get their first goal in the 15th minute, a nifty cutback from Rodolfo Pizarro before slotting the ball home. Robbie Robinson gets in on the action 20 minutes later with a left-footed finish, and then Pizarro makes it 3-0 shortly after halftime with a lobbed effort, a really nicely finished opportunity, and Inter Miami's at 3-0 before they even concede, and they concede off of an own goal from Kieran Gibbs on a set piece. But still, even with that goal, and even though it gave Toronto FC some life, Inter Miami never seemed in real danger of not being able to pull out the 3 points. Now, obviously, you have to take into consideration the opponent. Toronto FC is the worst team in MLS with the fewest points and most goals given up. They had those stats even before entering the night, and also fired their head coach earlier in the year. So you have to take that into consideration. Inter Miami was not playing the toughest opponent, but Inter Miami got the job done. It did what it had to do. 3 more points in the bank, and they treated the fans to a good show. So much so that towards the latter stage of the second half, fans started chanting "Ole, ole," and they started to add that little bit of fun to the atmosphere, which was a nice added wrinkle for the environment and the atmosphere here at Drive Pink Stadium. We haven't seen that by and large, and that's because Inter Miami has not normally been in positions where fans can do that in a game where Inter Miami is comfortably ahead and looking like they're going to close it out. So maybe we'll see more of that if Inter Miami can continue to put forth these type of performances. But again, all things considered, this was a positive step in the right direction for Inter Miami.
And ultimately, 3-1 probably doesn't do it justice in terms of I honestly thought we should have been 5-6 with the chances that we created, and that's the disappointment, that we got sloppy and careless on chances that we created, because we haven't had them types of chances all season. And but we won the game. That's all that matters.
Now, just to touch on some individual performances, we touched on Pizarro a little bit ago, but just to touch on his game, because I do think he was one of the best players on the field. Obviously, he has the 2 goals. He looked hungry. He continues to look a more confident player, not holding on to the ball too long, making quicker and sharper decisions, also being a little more lethal in front of goal. He had another opportunity in this match that was well saved. So good performance from Rodolfo Pizarro. And he's, again, like I said before, probably started to really make a case to be back in the starting lineup on a consistent basis. Now, let's touch on Robbie Robinson, because I briefly mentioned before that he scored with his left foot in this one, and that's something that he has needed to do just to add to his game and make it a little bit more well-rounded, something that we've touched on here on Miami Total Football. That has been maybe a point of criticism, that he really relies a lot on his right, almost avoids using his left, or not almost, he avoids using his left foot. And while he has been effective in using his right and scoring some goals even prior to tonight, it was becoming a bit predictable. And that's why his goal today is a big positive sign, something that Inter Miami fans should be excited about, because now he's a threat in both postures, or he's becoming more of a threat in both postures. We know that in the right-footed posture, he can score goals. But now in the left-footed posture, if he can become more dangerous like he was here, that just makes him much more lethal. And we saw it here because he beat Omar Gonzalez in the one-on-one situation they were in. He fakes like he's going to go to his right. Omar Gonzalez, a veteran defender, former U.S. men's national team center back. He clearly looks like he's expecting Robbie Robinson to cut on his preferred right foot. But Robinson fakes to the right, and he goes to his left before finishing with that left foot, and it completely catches Omar Gonzalez by surprise. You can see just by the reaction in his body when the shot is taken, or when the move happens, actually, sorry, that he just was completely caught by surprise and caught flat-footed there. So great from Robbie Robinson, and something that he said after the game he's been working on quite a bit as of late to become more unpredictable.
I've been practicing that with the left because defenders, I've been cutting in on my right a lot, and defenders are really, they're starting to like see that and just force me the other way. So yeah, I just faked the shot with my right. He went for it, hit it with my left. It was a goal.
The other player I'd like to touch on is Leandro Gonzalez Pires, who got 2 assists in this game. Now, obviously, when you get 2 assists, your name's going to pop out a little bit more on the stat sheet or on the box score, but this is not the first game that we've seen from him as of late, pinging in precise long balls from distance to help set up chances and or goals, because he's done this as of late especially. And if you go back to the midweek game, he did it on the second goal. Robbie Robinson scores off of a feed from Gonzalo Higuain, but the initial ball over the top to Higuain comes from Leandro Gonzalez Pires. And these long balls, these pinpoint long balls, are becoming a big weapon in Inter Miami's toolbox. It's an added tool in the toolbox because now they have another element, another way to hurt teams, opposing teams. And Leandro Gonzalez Pires has been showing well. Again, not only just on the defensive side, but in helping the attack become a little more dangerous and a little more lethal.
And Leandro has been so consistent in his performances. I do think he suits better on that right-hand side, coming out with the ball. He's give us another dimension. And we're really pleased with Leandro. His behaviour, his leadership around the building has been outstanding, and we're pleased with him.
But that about does it for now. What did you think of Inter Miami's 3-1 win over Toronto FC? Is your outlook of the team a lot more positive and a lot more optimistic now after this victory, and given where Inter Miami stands right now? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you thought about the exchange between Rodolfo Pizarro and Phil Neville. Do you agree with Phil Neville and take his side that, maybe Pizarro needed to be reminded that this is a team sport and team game, or do you kind of take Pizarro's position because of the fact that maybe he took it as a slight that when he's on a hat trick, he gets subbed out as one of the first moves Phil Neville makes? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you thought about Robbie Robinson and Leandro Gonzalez Pires and the team in general, the overall performance, but especially Robbie Robinson and his use of that left foot and the way he's developing. We'll be back later this week to preview the upcoming game against Orlando City in the latest edition of the Sunshine Clásico, El Clásico del Sol. Also do some more analysis and recapping of this game, so stay locked in for that. Also, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am Franco Panizo. This is Miami Total Football, and we'll see you guys back here very soon.